T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Back at it, Dream 3 Podcast, episode number 12. I can't believe we've been doing this long, but still, we're back at it. NFL season kicked off finally, and I'm not looking forward to week 2. As we know,
right.
Me and Neil have
a
big bet between the Colts and the Rams. After the performance of week 1 of watching Russell Wilson have 254 yards of total offense in the first half against the Colts, I am in very, very, very much in trouble. I just want to say that Carson Wentz did not look bad. The offensive line was absolutely garbage. Absolutely.
Do you think it's going to get better next week?
No. I don't know who 73 Davenport is. I know we traded for him. We gave him like a 6th-round pick to the Philadelphia Eagles. He couldn't block you or me. Guaranteed. I watched Carlos Dunlap just turn the corner and just run around him the entire game.
He made Carlos Dunlap look like Jadeveon Clowney.
Made him look like Chandler Jones getting 5 sacks in a game against Ryan Tannehill. Like, there's some I'm just happy football's back. We got some real football. A lot of good things, from rookie quarterback plays. I thought Mac Jones looked like he could be the next big thing. You do lose to Tua,
yeah,
but
I expected a little bit more from him. But Tua played decent. Miami's not a slouch.
No,
defensively they're a good team. It's just kind of wish he did a little more, and I don't know, got to open up the offense a little more.
I do wish in the Rams game, I know the Rams did end up punking the Bears, but I don't think that's Andy Dalton's team. You live or die with Justin Fields there.
Well, I told you this a couple weeks ago. I said, if Matt Nagy wants to keep his job, I think he has a better chance of keeping his job if he lets Justin Fields start week 1 versus Andy Dalton. And I think that was the dumbest decision to play Andy Dalton. I mean, there's a reason why he hasn't really played the last 2 years.
It absolutely is. And I definitely agree. I think you draft Justin Fields in the first round, you have to play him right away. No matter what Andy Dalton's done in his career, which has been mediocre at best anyway, from Cincinnati to Dallas to now, like Justin Fields in the preseason, man, he's got superstar potential, so just let the man play. Yeah.
I mean, he took that nasty hit, and I don't know if that was just a protection call or if he didn't see that was it a safety or a linebacker who came off the edge?
It was safety.
Yeah, I don't know if he saw that, especially being on the front side, especially right-handed thrower. I don't know why he didn't see that one coming. But I don't know. I think you still let it ride or die with Justin Fields, and I was surprised by it. But I was happy as a Rams fan because that means I didn't have to play against him. So.
And then if you look at the hard stuff, everyone was banking on Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence looked, okay, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, but he plays on a bad team, man.
That's bad roster.
That's a bad roster. That's a bad coach.
Their wide receiving core is pretty decent, I would say. I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is the offensive line and literally everybody else on that team. So
it's going to be the offensive line. Their defense can't stop anybody. I mean, they got a Texans team who's not really trying to win, who has Tyrod Taylor. Now, Tyrod Taylor's a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback.
He's a game-managing quarterback, and you let him torch you.
Absolutely. You just, 34 or 37 points?
Too many.
But now you got Bleacher Reports coming out talking about, Urban's having issues with his assistant coaches because Urban, for some reason, is like losing his mind for preseason losses, and the players don't like him. And you already have
because he's a college coach. It doesn't work like that in the NFL.
And we talked with Chris last week of, how Bill Belichick handles things, how, NFL coaching staffs handle things way different than a college coaching staff. A college coaching staff can take this 18, 19, 20-year-old kid and berate him and make him run and do all this stuff. A professional grown-ass man, he's probably, late 20s, maybe early 30s, been in the league a while. He's not going to run no sprints. He's going to call his agent and be like, get me the hell out of here. And, you're not going to have a locker room like that. So I think Urban's going to be on the hot seat. He might be a one and done. He might be looking at that USC job next year.
I don't. Why would he go back to college? That's the thing. I never understood why he went to the NFL first off, especially with both the medical issues that kept him out of Florida and Ohio State, which I know aren't all true to begin with. But I don't know. I don't know why he would go back to USC. I don't know what he could get out of it.
Just success.
But what else does he have to prove?
Doesn't matter. Look what Nick Saban did. I mean, Nick Saban was a failed NFL coach, went to Alabama, and look at him now.
Yeah, but I know, but he stuck with it. He didn't quit after 6 years on each one of his teams.
Well,
it's
Urban. I think.
I never liked Urban. I felt like he was going to ruin Trevor Lawrence to begin with, and it's sad, but Trevor may not actually do anything in the NFL for the first 3 or 4 years until he gets a true coaching staff and players around him to help.
Agreed. And yeah, the team, that owner, complete trash. Oh, last thing that I'm thinking about it, Ryan Fitzpatrick, he got put on the IR today with a hip injury. It's Taylor Heineke time. I want to see that kid ball out. Looked really good at the end of last year. Got a contract. Came from what was it? It wasn't the XFL. It was the spring league. It wasn't USFL. Whatever the spring league was called. Yeah, the Seattle Battle or the St. Louis Battlehawks. But I want to see that kid. Yeah. I want to see that kid ball out. He's earned the spot.
The XFL, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think it was the XFL, wasn't it?
It might be. Whatever. I just want to see him ball out. But he's got Scary Terry. Doesn't have really much else around him, but the kid can make plays.
Yep.
So. Got to remember, take the time, thank our sponsors, protectyourslabs.com, follow them on Instagram, follow them on Twitter, use Dream3 to get 10% off all your orders, gradedship.com, always protect your cards when you're shipping them, because we all know that we hate the postal service. They lose stuff, they break cards, they break everything. You don't like it. So make the investment to invest your cards that you sell. It only costs you a couple bucks. You get 15% off if you use Dream15. So go to gradedship.com. So let's jump right into, we got a couple guests today, which is awesome. As the card world is blowing up, you're seeing, different places to sell your cards. It used to be, when we first started up, it was just eBay. And you could get away with eBay for a long time, but now as the hobby is becoming more and more, ginormous, eBay is catching on, and those seller fees kill you where it's at.
12-13% kills you, dude.
So if you sell, let's take my LeBron BGS 10 that you pulled for me, sold it for $4,000, and I have to pay 12% to eBay on top of that, not including shipping. So you feel like you're losing anyway. So you have, a handful of companies popping up that are kind of doing the eBay thing, but a little bit different. And they're looking out for the people who are selling, which is great. Smaller commissions. So we have two great people from Prospect.Cards. Want to welcome Sean and Corey to the stream. What's up, guys?
What's up, guys?
Welcome back.
I was just gonna say I was chomping at the bit while you guys were talking Jacksonville and Urban Meyer. I'm an SC guy actually, so that was one of the first things that I thought today. I was like, maybe Urban will just crash and burn in 1 year. Maybe I would be down to grab Urban. You guys don't like him?
I think so. We had a friend
at the college level. He's done nothing but win.
He's done nothing but win, but he's also he's covered up some really, really bad things. And
100%.
And
but we're cool with that at SC.
I mean, I mean, I'm
Just
fine
give
with.
Reggie back his trophy. That's all.
I know the guy who paid Reggie Bush. He went to my college, and then OJ, but we won't go there. I mean, OJ got to keep his Heisman.
We've got a whole history.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a buddy who was a punter and a kicker for him at the University of Florida when he was there. So we've heard some stories too. So, but whatever. It's all. But let's get into it. Sean, Corey, kind of tell everybody. I'll let you guys explain. First off, tell me your guys' journey in the hobby. Like, how did you get into the hobby? What are you collecting? How, what do you PC? So, Sean, I'll let you go ahead and start.
Okay. So Corey and I have been buddies for a long time. Is it 10 years now, I think? But we basically started our careers together in public accounting. And we were actually cube mates when we first started our careers as little babies. And that's how we knew each other. And we've been good friends ever since. I mean, we've worked together for all those 10 years, except for, I think, a 2-year window in between. And so at our last job, Corey had, I guess, when did you get back into the hobby, Corey?
I got in, so I'm primarily, I mean, I follow pretty much all the sports pretty closely, but I like basketball the most. So I always remember it by year now. And it's funny how you can kind of like keep track of all the rookie classes now because you know what design of the card it is and whatnot. But so I very vividly remember that I started in the 17-18 basketball year. So like Mitchell's and Tatum's were my first like modern chase guys. So a few years ago, yeah, around towards the end of the 17-18 basketball hobby season, I guess.
Yeah. And so just when working together, just in lunch breaks, just shooting the shit, like Corey started talking to me about it about that time and trying to convince me to get back into it just because he was really into it. And I was someone that grew up, being obsessed with Ken Griffey Jr. and collecting Griffey cards. And back home in my childhood closet, I still have, several boxes of pretty worthless at this point Griffey junk wax cards. But it's fun to go back and look at them. But anyway, yeah. So just in those conversations, Corey, trying to convince me to get back into it and saying how much fun he was having with it. And eventually he won me over and started to get back into it. And as far as my PC stuff goes, I'm pretty all over the place. A lot of basketball, a lot of like Bowman first baseball. Baseball was my first passion growing up, obviously. But yeah, just so in those conversations, first Corey won me over to get back into the hobby. And then beyond that, we were just started talking about the marketplace environment and how there wasn't really a marketplace that we would want to use. And
no, you're good.
You're good.
Okay. But
we want to see your beautiful face
and my beautiful apartment. And so the conversation just kind of stemmed from that, in that, like I said, the marketplace that we would want to use didn't exist. And it just so happens that my little brother is a software developer and Corey's brother is also an avid hobbyist. And so we just built a team and started really thinking about what the marketplace that we would like to use would look like. And so, I mean, I guess that was about mid 2020 when we really sat down and started kind of crafting our ideas, building it out, like of what we would want to see. We knew we would want a marketplace that permitted the sale of raw cards and slabs, as well as lots and wax for that matter, that we'd want it to be open to everyone. And so we went through the process of really building it from the ground up of everything that we would want to see. So, the whole site's tailor-made for sports cards, the listing process, the the filtering process, the search features, all tailor-made just for sports cards. So in our opinion, and in theory, you know, it's really quick and intuitive and easy. And, you know, beyond that, as hobbyists, we were aware of the complaints that people had about the hobby, like the fact that, I guess the non-payment issue, which is, you know, kind of silly in our perspective that that's a thing, but we were sure to include in our site the pre-approved guaranteed payments. And, you know, as far as the marketplace environment right now, the vault options are fairly prevalent, but we weren't really fans of that. We like being able to hold and enjoy our cards. And in our perspective, if you can't do that, it's almost, you know, if you can't hold it and enjoy it and appreciate it, it's almost kind of feels a little bit like, what's the point? So yeah, we're definitely not the vault option. And yeah, I mean, it grew from the perspective of, as hobbyists, trying to build something that would serve the hobby as best as possible. And that's still where our heads are at. You know, we love getting feedback about ways to improve the site. We love hearing suggestions on features that we could build going forward. And that's where we continue to be, you know, just trying to serve the hobby and build the best marketplace that, from our perspective, serves the hobby as best as we can. So that's where we continue to operate. So, you know, if you guys have ideas of features that you would like to see in a marketplace, you know, don't hesitate to ever reach out and let us know. But Corey, did I miss anything? Or
no, I don't think so. I mean, I think we really do come from a place where, you know, we were in the hobby first, just as collectors, and you know, like Sean was stressing about the vault options. I think that's not necessarily something that a lot of collectors really enjoy. I mean, certainly I don't. But, you know, we kind of understand the mechanics of like buying and selling cards now, down to, you know, the costs and all that stuff. So, you know, there can be cost savings with the vault options, not knocking those in any way. It's just not for us, right? Like, you know, I spend more time than I like to admit, you know, like weekends and just enjoying them, and that's part of the fun. So I like to have them in hand. And yeah, more than anything, we're also trying to be like as transparent as we can about kind of how we use the fee, right? Like, you know, we take a fee, of course, and, you know, we have to keep our site up and running as well. But like, for example, you know, we started spending on Google advertisements as well. So stuff like that is, you know, hopefully the sellers kind of see a value add in terms of, you know, where their fee goes, and it's not just like going straight into our pockets or anything like that. Certainly, like I said, you know, we want to see this thing keep going, so we need to do that in that regard. But yeah, we're trying to explain kind of how we use that fee, how we kind of back the seller up, back the buyer up, and resolve the disputes should they come up.
For the hobbyists and just for listeners, what is your fee percentage, just so that way they can kind of get a gauge, as opposed to paying that 13% fee from eBay?
Yeah, so we actually talked at length about fees. And so what we learned is that as far as the payment processing fee, it's kind of hard to get around that, you know, about 3% fee. I think it's 2.9% plus 30.
Uh-oh. Did we lose
Did we
Corey?
lose him?
Corey, step up your internet game, man.
Oh,
there
sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been
the Burger King internet
wonky,
joke.
So sorry about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so we realized it was kind of hard to get around that 3%, unless you kind of have your own like site ecosystem where, you know, people deposit money and kind of like just credits are really flying around the site, and then, you know, you cash out at a certain point in time, which was, you know, I think more trouble than it's worth for a lot of people. So there's that base 3%, and our stated rate is 5%, but we actually launched at 2% as like a promotional launch rate. We also had a promotion at 0% for a while, just to kind of get people to try out the site, give them a chance to get to know the site. And to be honest, our plan is to have that 5% stated rate, but to kind of have different avenues, you know, where we could work with other folks to try and get a better rate for the sellers, and work with other folks like you guys, you know, where we could have a promotional rate through a partnership or something like that. So I guess I would say 5% or lower for the site sellers, the site fee plus the payment processing fee.
And the
Well,
truth
that's a lot
is,
better than 12%, 13%.
yeah.
That's for sure.
And the truth is, we are allowing the sale of raw cards, and you maybe do need to be a little more hands-on in any sort of dispute process or anything like that. So it does take a little bit more on our end, just to manage that and mediate that. And we are open to everyone, and we have mechanisms built into the site to protect buyers and sellers. But it does take some stuff on our end. And then beyond that, you want to get, like Corey said, you want to get as many eyeballs on cards as possible. So you do have to advertise, and we do advertise new listings through IG, through Google. So, that a lot of that money goes back to benefit the seller themselves.
Yep. Understandable. Got to be able to promote your stuff, be able to get people to come in and use the marketplace, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just like anything else in business. I mean, you got to have money to promote yourself to gain money. So, that's kind of how I found you guys on Instagram, promoting the business of who's the new listings, and then getting kind of familiar with the website and seeing it. Like, it's very, it's easy to use. It's nicely built. So we can't, we want everybody to go kind of check it out. So Sean, if you could kind of tell them the website address and where they can find you, kind of like on Instagram or anywhere else.
So yeah, the website is prospect.cards. And yes, that is a valid URL, the .cards. And the Instagram handle is prospect.cards as well. So yeah, I mean, we'd love to get more people on the site, get more people checking out the Instagram. So I appreciate that.
Do you guys know how many users you have right now on your marketplace?
Yeah, it's right now about 2,000. And trends are good. I mean, like you said, feedback is good, and we're, continuing to spend and try and grow that. And the site did just launch in February. And as you guys know, it's a fairly noisy time to launch a sports card, just as far as noise in the environment. But again, I mean, feedback is really good. People really do seem to enjoy it. And so, we're committed to keep trying to grow it as much as we can, and serve the community the best we can.
For sure. And I think, you made a great point that, there's a lot of, chatter, a lot of things going on in the hobby, the community all at once, things popping up. I think you guys are at the right market. Obviously, with the percentages being the big thing for the sellers. Now, me and Neil are very critical about, the new grading companies, the half-assed top loader companies, people just trying to do things to make quick money on the side for the hobby. And I think you guys are doing the right thing in using the marketplace to help sellers, because that's what we're all trying to do. We're either buy, sell, trade. That's the goal. It's not, you're not buying a box of cards to rip to keep every single card. So you have to have a great marketplace to move. And I think your marketplace is right up there with one of the best.
Yeah, you guys do well. And I think one of the hardest parts, obviously, in your space of creating a marketplace, user marketplace for buying, selling, and trading is, eBay is probably really the one marketplace that does raw cards. My Slabs is strictly just slabs, and you guys have the best of both worlds in that. So when you can limit the amount of fees like you guys do, but still provide an opportunity for people to buy raw cards that they may be looking for, rather than buying high-end slabs or things that are graded, maybe they're trying to flip. I think your community, your marketplace provides them a substantial opportunity to buy, to sell, to do those things that they may not want to do through eBay. and still be able to limit their fees and succeed in what they want to do, whether it's making money or growing their collection. You guys are able to do that well.
Yeah, appreciate that. And just as far as the fees go, like the mindset really is to keep it as low as possible. You know, if we're able to, you know, like we want to help the community, and if we're able to develop another revenue stream somehow, like, and we have thoughts about that, but you know, whatever we can do to keep the fees low, like that's what we're trying to do. And so, yeah, we definitely have thoughts about ways to do that in the future, but that's a little bit down the line.
Yeah, and I guess to elaborate a little bit more on the sale of rock cards, yeah, I think this is kind of a good time for that. Obviously, there's grading company constraints at the moment. Other ones popping up. People have some reticence about the new ones and that sort of thing. But yeah, I think also it's about like developing kind of a healthy expectation for that type of stuff. So if you go to our buying guidelines and that sort of thing, we expressly state on the rock cards that like, look, this, you can't be expecting that you're going to buy a card that's going to grade out a PSA 10. Like the seller probably earned their first right of refusal by getting that from a break or ripping that card themselves. That shouldn't be the expectation. And I think that, on eBay, that's kind of been one of the complaints, is that everybody thinks they're buying PSA 10 raw cards. And like, we made this marketplace because we felt that as this thing kind of blew up during COVID, that, eBay is not a sports card, strictly a sports card marketplace, right? And it was getting large enough that we thought it kind of justified its own space to buy and sell. Because this is doing billions of dollars a year at this point.
If not a quarter. I think eBay's last report was like that they did $1 billion in the quarter. I think maybe
in the quarter. Oh God.
So yeah. If someone knows otherwise, they can correct me. But I think that I saw that actually.
Yeah. But anyway,
they did $1 million just on a few cards themselves. So, $1 billion doesn't sound too far off, especially with how big they are. But that's what happens when you've been around since, I don't know, 98, 2000.
Yeah. And I think I had mentioned to you guys previously, but there's just other benefits to having a card marketplace that's devoted to cards. There's opportunity to develop more community features to really build a home for the community kind of, and have it be more interactive. That's something that a big marketplace that's not purely sports card, that they're not going to be able to do. Not to mention that the actual functionality isn't tailored just to sports cards.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the places that our team's heads have been lately, is just kind of building out like more of the community aspect of that. And like I said, that along with that comes with like the healthier expectations about cards. The sellers are still expected to provide as many close-up photos or call out egregious things on the card, but like, I don't know, I think just getting back to the days where you can have a card, it doesn't have to be slabbed, and you can still enjoy it. That's how I feel about the hobby. That's how I approach it. I collect my Angels cards, my Lakers cards. They're not all slabbed. I enjoy them. So I think the price should reflect that. And you don't want to think you're buying a $20 raw card that's going to grade out a PSA 10 and it's cost $250 when it's a PSA 10. Like that's just, that's not the right expectation to have. And we've actually had a buyer that reached out and was like amazed with this Lamar Jackson colored parallel that he bought, and was like, this is pristine, it is amazing and stuff. And we hope that you hit on some of those once in a while and get to enjoy that, but that shouldn't be the expectation.
Also, at the same time, if you look at the site, we have six images we allow for each sale, and the images are very high res. So like you can actually see the details, and we encourage sellers to do that to, ideally get as many high quality images on there as possible. And you can actually really see the quality of the card.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing that probably isn't taken into account, is like, and something that, maybe I can just say for the hobby in general, is we've gotten so big that we've neglected to truly go back to some of our roots. And that's truly based on honesty and integrity. Because in this hobby, we all know your reputation is everything. So if you can't be an honest seller, an honest buyer, it's almost like we don't need you here. We're trying to create something that's bigger than ourselves, bigger than the hobby. You know, people who donate, who create charities. It's not about just purely money. It's about enjoying a hobby for what it is and what it means to all of us.
And the community, you know, like, and I guess, you know, not to rip on like the vault things too much, but it does feel kind of impersonal, and you know,
the tangibility is very important.
Yeah, I mean, part of we'll agree, but and also just the interaction, even if it's just that little bit more of interaction where you're getting a card shipped from someone, like, and getting a nice note from them saying like, hey, really appreciate your business or whatever. But yeah, also, you know, the card shows and when you take the interaction and the community and the personality, like the interaction out of it, it kind of loses a lot of its luster. Like, kind of loses a lot of its fun. You know, that's a lot of what people enjoy about it, bringing people together, you know, which is something that's very needed in 2021, you know?
Yeah. And we've kind of seen this on almost every podcast we've done. We've got to talk to like Slabstock Aaron, and, you know, a guy who started from absolutely nothing to putting on a charity event at the Nationals and raising over $100,000. Like, you know, you come to see the best of people now. Sometimes you see those scumbags at, you know, the Nationals, or somebody who's stealing cards, those dickwads who deserve to get beat up. But I'd say 98% of the people in this hobby are good people who are looking to help out others, you know, kids, like like you said, Sean, what this world needs in 2021. So I think, you know, kind of also like what you said, like when I sell somebody something, like, you know, I put, you know, the podcast card in it, write them a little note, thank them. And, you know, it's that personal connection of, you know, thanking you for your business. I mean, you didn't have to buy my card. You know, I do the same. It's just like leaving feedback. Like, we're not buying, like, me and Neil are on a kick right now where we're not really looking at graded cards. We're looking for game used on card autos. Like, that's our thing right now. And, you know, I get more enjoyment out of that, finding those nice, dirty, beat up patches. Like, yeah, PSA cards, BGS cards are cool right now, but man, I can't beat, like, Neil, your double patch Gronk or your Tony Gonzalez that you
posted. Color one.
Yeah, whatever. Or your Ray Lewis.
Wait, that Austin Eckler one you sent me, the PSA 6?
Huh?
I bought that one.
Did you?
Yeah, because I talked to Burbank a lot. They're the one that I bought the black refractor with LeBron. I bought that through them a few months ago, and I just texted it. I just texted them. I'm like, hey, like, what can we do on this deal, just so that way I can buy from your website and I don't have to deal with paying $25 in taxes and fees.
Because you just wanted an Austin Eckler like mine.
Yeah, but the Austin Eckler, that patch is like dirty. It looks like he's got a poop stain on it.
It does. All right, I'm gonna turn the interview on its head. So Corey, you're a big basketball guy, correct?
Yep.
All right. Here's your question: Jordan or LeBron?
I swear to God, if you get this question, you're getting out of the podcast.
Here we go. Here comes the boot.
I know the right answer.
Oh God, I think I know the right answer, but my heart's telling me something else.
No, trust your heart. Trust your heart. Trust your heart.
Oh God.
What does your heart say?
Yeah, always trust your heart.
I'm sorry, my heart says Jordan, and I'm a Lakers guy.
Oh.
Caleb, you're in control. You can.
No, I'll tell you guys a story though. Actually, so when we founded the company, you know, so we had to write up our org docs, and the voting class, because it was a mix of people, but the voting class of shareholders was called Class LBJRC. Because
this is not a lie. This is not a lie.
This is not a lie. If you look at our org docs,
and I also knew what the right answer was.
That's for, you know, the only people that are distinguished and have the taste and sophistication to own an LBJRC are the people that have the voting rights in the company. And we both are a Class LBJRC. I'll say that. I'm surprised that he said Jordan. I'm surprised. I did not. I thought when I said follow your heart that was the.
Yeah.
Okay, but what?
I will say this.
Why? Okay.
I did on Facebook. I do a top 25 or top 20 players in NBA history that I do every year with a couple guys. He does like a statistical analysis on all of them and gives them a rating and a score. This past year and every year, I have voted Michael Jordan as the number one player ever, only because LeBron hasn't hit some statistical measures yet that he will, that I think can help build his case. Now, in 2-3 years, LeBron will have 40,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, and 10,500 assists. He'll be top 3 all-time in assists, top 25 in rebounds, and number 1 overall point scorer. Then I think that's a legitimate argument with 4 championships. If LeBron has 5 championships, then there's even better argument. But yeah, I will say right now, Michael Jordan has number 1. LeBron will get there, though.
Look, I think at 5, it's not even a question, and I think
agreed.
I try to stay pretty objective. I mean, I'm a Lakers guy, and I've had many a debate about Kobe versus LeBron, and obviously LeBron to me still. I think I'm a pretty objective fan. Obviously Jordan's got the 6 for 6. LeBron shouldn't be penalized for making finals early in his career, like 07. I do hold the first Heat loss to Dallas
for carrying teams,
for carrying that squad and getting swept by the Spurs. That doesn't go against him in my book. But I do hold the first Heat loss to Dirk and the Mavs against him. I think that's a little bit of a stain on him. And I think that the second Spurs, that was a very good team, but I think that he should have pulled it out. Now,
how many All-Stars, not All-Stars, how many Hall of Famers were on that Spurs team that he played?
The one in
against the one that he lost the second time.
The second time so that was Kawhi, Tim Duncan,
Tony Parker, Manu.
Yeah, and Tim Duncan.
Who else was on that team?
Oh man, I don't even.
Patty Mills.
I don't even really. Yeah, Patty Mills for sure. Yeah, I mean honestly,
was Danny Green on there?
Aussie Hall
he was. Danny Green was also on there. You're right. I don't know. Just remembering that run, that Spurs team was like incredible to watch offensively. They were like one of those some is greater than the whole is greater than the sum of their parts type of team. Yeah. Offensively, they just didn't make mistakes. They looked like a well-oiled machine every single game. I don't really hold that one too much against him, but even in a 50-50 series, you want to see him
expect him to win.
Yeah, you want to see him come out on top in that series if he's going to be the GOAT, right?
Yep.
But I think the one area where he gets a ton of credit, obviously, is just literally being a walking Eastern Conference Finals guy or Finals guy in the East, like 8 straight finals, just being crazy in the East, changing teams. Obviously, missed the first year with the Lakers and then back in the finals the next year with the shit. And then just winning on 3 different franchises. That's
and
so hard to do.
the Finals MVP on each one.
Yeah, and being the Finals MVP. Obviously, you can make the argument that Jordan did it all in one franchise. He never even had the opportunity to change teams, but that I don't buy that.
LeBron never got all the help that Jordan did.
Yeah, I don't deny that either. And I'm no Jordan homer, but I think that he needs a little bit more to me. A 5th championship is more than enough. He doesn't need 6. He doesn't need 7. But I want to see a little bit more. And the incredible thing is that guy's just a cyborg. So his career is not over. He still has something left in the tank clearly. And even an 85% of peak LeBron is still scary for the league. That's still a top 5 guy. So
as a Nuggets homer, I'm just going to say that I'm just disappointed that Jokic wasn't even included as an option in that debate. The GOAT, Nikola Jokic.
Where's he from? What country?
Serbia.
Well, maybe he's just the Serbian GOAT. How about that? We'll give you that.
Okay.
Well, as
his story is still being written.
As the Pacer guy, I'm just hoping that Jermaine O'Neal comes back to just start punching people in the face.
Oh man,
that's all I have because the Pacers since Reggie Miller have been trash.
I have to say, Jermaine O'Neal was one spilled beer away from spending his life in prison. If he did not slip on that beer and he slugged that guy across the face, I'm convinced that guy would have died. Yeah. Yeah.
Greatest right hand in basketball history.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Did you watch?
Maybe Jake Paul.
I haven't watched the documentary yet. I haven't
It's
watched the mouse.
amazing documentary.
I've heard it's super good, and it's like never sort of foreseen footage too and stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's got like all the security footage, all the sit downs with the guys you want to hear from. Like it's legit. And then Jermaine O'Neal did a 45-minute podcast with Jim Rome, and that was really, really good too. Like, because I remember as a kid watching it live and thinking like, are they really fight? Is this on live TV? Are they really fighting fans? Like this isn't. This is it's not WWE.
Was last night.
Yeah, Raw was yesterday. Like they're slugging fans. Like this is awesome. And what's funny is and Reggie Miller says it correct. That was the last opportunity for the Pacers to make it to the finals and probably win a world championship because they were just coming off the finals loss to the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
So, the team they had acquired and the pieces they had in place, they were unstoppable in the East. But, you also had a bunch of hotheads together and Ron Artest and Steven Jackson. And
yeah.
Oh, and it ruined Jermaine O'Neal's career.
Yeah, he was nothing after that.
Nope.
Yeah,
nope.
He was like a top 3 in MVP voting one year. Like he was big time.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely not the same after that for sure.
Nope. No, he was not.
But now it's football season. So since you guys are LA guys, who is your football team?
I'll start. I've struggled to. So I was born and raised in New Mexico, and so I didn't grow up with like an obvious pick. I rooted for the 49ers growing up, just Jerry Rice. Like, and a lot of people from New Mexico do like Broncos and Cowboys, but over time, I evolved into a Seahawks fan, the Pete Carroll connection. And then I said that I was a big Griffey fan growing up. So I just, for whatever reason, got into Seattle sports teams. And so definitely Seahawks right now. I have not been able to adopt. Well, I mean, in general, I have not really been able to, in my heart of hearts, adopt any of the LA teams since I've moved out here. And yeah, I tried with the Lakers. I tried with the Clippers. I tried to really feel it with the Dodgers, but haven't really been able to, in my true heart of hearts, really embrace any of the LA teams so far.
Yeah.
Corey?
And for me, I wouldn't say I'm a fan per se of any of them. I am partial to a couple teams. So I've always grown up in like the Orange County area of Southern California. So all my friends were Chargers fans growing up from San Diego's, they skew more Chargers, and then obviously no LA team when I was growing up. And then I actually did some school in Texas as well. So I'm a Longhorn too. So yeah, have some connections to the Cowboys as well.
So that's always fun for Corey and I to talk about the
USC Texas game,
the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, that's always and then we've had some regular season matchups within the past few years.
Yeah, we went to one of the games a few years, actually more than, it's probably like 5-6 years now. No, not that long because Ellinger was still the quarterback. Maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. We lost by a field goal at the Coliseum. It wasn't fun.
It's been a little rough for both the SC and the Texas guys the past handful of years. So
of course, and how SEC's running the game. Everybody wants to jump to the SEC.
No, Alabama's running the game. Let's be honest.
Yeah, let's be real.
Alabama needs to make their own conference. They play themselves 12 weeks out of the year.
A squad versus B squad.
So Sean, being a USC guy, Dylan, our third partner, is huge Reggie Bush USC guy. Like PC Reggie Bush USC, not Reggie Bush NFL, just Reggie Bush USC. In your opinion, with the new, pay for play type of college football, it's way different from when I was playing college football. But the way it is now, should Reggie have got his Heisman back?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it was, I guess, it was kind of egregious, the $300,000 house, and that's pushing it a little bit, but no, I think so. And I'll say actually that I went to SC. 04 was my first year. 05 was my second year. So that Rose Bowl game against Texas, that was the first time that I saw my team ever lose. I didn't think it was possible. I thought I was just so used to SC finding a way, second half coming back, Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush finding that was like a real mind fuck to me, a real shock to what? It's possible? It's possible for us not to win? But so I was lucky, man. I was all the great Reggie highlights. I was there for those. It was a fun time for sure. But yeah, of course, just give him back the Heisman. It's stupid.
Hey, shit. You got kids. You got the redshirt freshman from Ohio State, the kid with the blonde mullets, making
1.3 million.
1.3 million. That's ridiculous.
That guy was a Longhorn commit.
Yeah, he decommitted.
Yeah.
But you look at stuff like this. Eric Dickerson, SMU gave him, his house, and gave him a house, a car, and his family a house to get him to come to SMU. They've been doing it forever. No longer the death penalty. But the guy who set up all that with Reggie Bush, his name's Mike Ornstein. Mike Ornstein was his agent / marketing guy. Went to my university. He's a lot older, but that dude, I saw him paying players in the FCS level back when I was playing.
Let's be real. I think it happens probably at all levels. If there's an incentive to do it, it happens. And SC got caught. And sometimes they want to make an example. And it was over the top, I think, and especially in the context of
very over
what's
the
happening
top,
now.
Dude. We were so down on scholarships for so many years. It was
it was a lot.
And the bowl game bans and all that stupid stuff. But here's my take on it always, and I always say this. So Reggie Bush has to lose his Heisman, but OJ gets to keep his.
Wait, okay. Reggie Bush has to lose it, but OJ.
But the NCAA doesn't take away OJ's.
Yeah, it don't make sense.
Yeah,
stupid.
How does the NCAA not take away OJ's?
Well, I get the jury ruled innocent
because it's the NCAA and they're a bunch of
NCAA is
it's a building in Indianapolis that means nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they're shaking in their boots right now because of everything that's going on. So we'll see how much longer they're even around for.
Absolutely. And now the conferences and the money of the TV deals is going to run everything. It's going to be kind of like an NFL where almost everybody could be an independent league, independent team, and schedule your own games. You could see that kind of like the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
a weird place. It's gonna be interesting to see the evolution of it all. It's gonna be weird to see how it shakes out, kind of.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I don't even think they have, any seat at the table for the college football playoff. So it's really this NCAA basketball tournament, which is just branded with their name and all this. That they're hanging on by a thread to right now, and we'll see as the conferences kind of shift away from that or decide to have more money in their own pockets. What really happens with this governing body that does nothing more than fleece the student athletes? That's too real.
Yeah, it was when I was playing, it was such a crock. I've told this story on the podcast before, some guy wanted to give the team T-shirts and the NCAA said no because it's an extra benefit. I was like, some of these guys are from Immokalee, Florida, up here in Indiana. Let the dude have a T-shirt. He's got no money. He's living on the stipend check week to week. Like, come on, man. Like the NCAA, and especially for like walk-on status. So like when I walked onto the team, and I wasn't allowed to eat with the team. I wasn't allowed to have team gear. I was just yeah. So I was basically just like show up, get beat up, go home. Like I had for 6 months, because I wasn't technically a whatever the NCAA wants to call it, like a college player. I had no insurance. So if I got hurt, and I remember I broke 3 ribs and basically had to tough it out for about half the season. But, it was part of it. Live, learn. It was fun back then.
What did that feel like, taking hits with 3 broken ribs?
Toradol and Vicodin are your friends.
Okay.
Are your friends.
Going to mama's cabinet, grandma's cabinet, find anything you can't pronounce, take it.
Take handfuls of it, especially when you're playing kickoff and kickoff return. So I had broken. So we're in not a padded practice, but kind of like a shells. So we're just like helmets, shorts, and jerseys, and we're just warming up. It's our bye week, and we're just doing tackling drills. And one of the linebackers come up to me and wraps up and just like hits the sides of my ribs, and I could hear it and feel it. And it's just automatically like all the wind goes out of you. So I go to the training staff and we take x-rays, and it's just like, oh, those are broken. Well, you can't do much with a broken rib except, pad up. And, I'm playing on special teams, and as a walk-on, it's just like, I'm getting playing time. So I'm not, going to say nothing, but every time somebody would just like tap me, it would just be like, oh, and I would walk over to the bench and just like squat down and try to catch my breath. And it was a rough weeks. But
was Kellen your AT when you were there?
Who?
Kellen
Norris. Sounds familiar.
He's one of the ATs there now. He worked at Indiana State before he came to the Colts.
I'd have to
when
see
I was with them, and then he went back.
I'd have to see a picture of him. Oh yeah, the guy with the Colts
guy.
Yeah,
spiky hair.
Yeah. Yep.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah. The good shots. I love it. I love it. So yes, they take all the good drugs in college football too. Whatever to get you to the next game.
Mm-hmm.
That's the business. But
what was Drew Brees playing with? Was it last year or 2 years ago? How many broken ribs? He had like
11.
a punctured lug and 11 broken ribs.
Yeah. Playing with that,
so come on, Caleb, come on, man.
Yeah. Andrew Luck Andrew Luck with the lacerated spleen, or T.O. with the broken leg in the Super Bowl game. I mean,
that was nuts.
We talked to my buddy Chris last week, who played in the Super Bowl for the Patriots. He had a torn calf muscle and was on the opening kickoff of the Super Bowl sprinting down, and he played the Super Bowl with a torn calf. I mean, you find out in football, like you're going to get injured, but are you going to play through it? And how much are you willing to sacrifice like your long-term health? Like talking with Chris, he played 6 years and he had 7 major surgeries. He tore the same groin muscle 3 times.
Man.
It's part of it. It was fun. Now I look back at it and I'm like, oh, that was stupid.
It's all for the glory of a Super Bowl ring, right?
Hey, I wish I had a Super Bowl ring.
I won't complain about my tender shoulder from my tennis playing anymore, guys. So, it's a little tender. It's a little tender.
It's okay. Our friend Gordon Hayward was a state champion tennis player, and then he became a basketball superstar.
Yeah, he grew 5 inches over the summer, and he's like, well, I guess I'll go play basketball now.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they say about Mac Jones. Like, that wasn't that his scouting report was that he grew up a tennis player in a tennis family, and so he has such perfect footwork in the pocket just from that tennis lateral movement. That's what I heard.
But hey, he's dropping dimes.
Did he also get the beer gut from his family too?
Probably. Might be genetic.
That's an early Alabama beer gut because like a 4.2. That's my goal. So, well, we'll wrap it up here. Once again, appreciate Corey and Sean for taking the time, hanging out with us. Guys, remember, go to prospect.cards. Go to the website. Check them out. Go check them out on Instagram. Once again, guys, thank you guys for your time. Hopefully everyone goes follow you. We'll promote this. Remember, you can listen to this not only on all of our social media pages, but we're on Spotify. And it always goes up the very next day. So
Awesome.
take
Thanks
it.
a lot, guys. It was fun.
Absolutely, guys. Hopefully we can get you guys back on later in the season. But yeah, guys, go download it on Spotify. Go listen to it on the social media, on YouTube, it's on my Twitter. Follow me and Doughboy on Doughboy Sports Cards 1, me, Showtime Sports Cards. So until next time, we'll see you later.
Peace.
Good night.